Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video. Hello, Fearless Freedom Tribe. This is Dr. G, and we are here this week with a special guest, and that special guest name is Robert. Robert is going to tell us Robert Raymond Riopel, and he is going to tell us all about what he does, because he does a lot, and what he is up to. Take it away, Robert.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. And because we're on video, I see a happy birthday sign behind you. Whose birthday was it? Or is it?
My significant other turned 50.
Oh.
We just never take it down.
Happy birthday to him. The big 5-0. Oh,
yeah.
And that means
we're
life
not
just
spring
getting...
chickens anymore. We're not.
I can relate. I had my big 5-0 2 years ago. So, but hey, I am so happy to be here, Dr. G, and I'll tell you, I love to be able to help people with fear because it's something that I've encountered throughout my life. And to give your listeners a little bit of my background, currently I am an international best-selling author. I am an app designer, serial entrepreneur, and the thing I'm the most proud of probably is that not only am I a trainer that gets to travel around the world impacting lives and personally trained over 500,000 people, but the biggest thing I'm proud of is that I just celebrated my 32nd wedding anniversary to my high school sweetheart.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, congratulations. That's a very remarkable milestone because number one, that is your high school sweetheart. She's your high school sweetheart. But number two, that you stuck it out for that long.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, I learned the 2 most important words in a relationship are yes, dear. That's
I thought you were gonna say you're right.
Well, that's the second 2 most important. But because we're talking about fear, I'm the first person to admit. People say, Robert, how have you accomplished everything you have? And it's like, I'll tell you, if it was left to me, I would be comfortably miserable in a job because of fear, because of the way I was raised and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's my amazing bride who has, the running joke is, I was innocent until I met her. And then she corrupted me. She corrupted me in a great way because I was in the box thinking. Because it was, look, doesn't matter whether you like a job or not. You do the job to take care of your family and you don't question things. You just follow the rules no matter what. And so she came into my life. We've known each other since we were 13 and we started dating when we were 16 and we got married when we were 19. And when we started dating, she started going, well, we should do this. I'm like, no, we can't do that. Well, why? See, and I had no good answer why, but it was because that's the way it's done.
Right.
And she's like, we should do it this way. But I'd be like, no. What if it doesn't work? And that fear blocked me. But her passion is, and it's a gift that she gives me, is she's not willing to let me play smaller than I am. And because of that, we've been able to accomplish, and I'll never say we've been able to accomplish what we have in our lives because we now hold each other to that same gift of a higher standard. And especially when fear comes in, which one of us, where if we go into fear, the other person's there to nudge us, cajole us, kick us in the ass, whatever it takes to get through that fear.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. No, that's great. It's good to have a life partner that's like that, who is, motivating you to essentially step outside the comfort zone and grow, right? Because that's what it sounds like you're doing. Because every single time that we're like, oh, I'm just going to stay here in this little place that's super safe and I am not going to venture off, we rob ourselves of growth. And so, it sounds like you two are definitely pushing each other to make sure that you continue to grow, which is awesome.
Yeah, and look, understand that it's not always easy. Just like life, we have our ups and our downs. Just like life, there's times where we love each other to the moon and back, and other times it's like, why am I still here? But we go through it because
Yeah,
I never want someone to think that to have success, you have to be the perfect person. You're going to be perfectly imperfect in your life. And that's
absolutely.
when you accept that, that's what allows life to be fun. Because one of our
Indeed.
big rules, yeah, right. And I'll ask people all the time. I'll say, "Are you staying out of trouble?" And most people go, "Yeah." And my response is, "Sorry to hear that,"
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that getting into trouble is how you have fun, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what my kids think, at least. That's exactly how they think. So, but no,
Yeah,
that's so true. I mean, it's obviously, the trouble that we're describing, and I am well aware the tribe knows this, but like the trouble we're describing is not like illegal activity, right? I mean, talking about trouble
right.
that's gonna push you or allow for you to facilitate, different adventures and doing different things that maybe you might not otherwise do because you were, just playing it safe. So
That's right. And that's exactly it. Legal, ethical, moral is the way I
right,
always look at it. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
No, that's fantastic. And so you guys need, wow, since 13 years old, that's amazing. You know, I guess I would ask, are you from like a small town? Because that's not a very typical story. Most
Yeah.
people don't.
No, I live in Canada, and in Canada we have what's called the Sea Cadet organization, which is
Okay.
a younger version of the Navy, where you learn discipline, you learn skills, you learn leadership. And so for our Navy, we have what's called Sea Cadets. Then for Air, we have Air Cadets, Army Cadets.
Okay.
Very
Okay.
creative with the names, as you can tell.
Right, right,
And
right.
the city I lived in was a city of about 50,000 people at the time, and she grew
Okay.
up in a town about 20 kilometers away that had
Yes.
about 7,000 people in it, and we met in cadets, and so we
Okay.
got to
Got it.
know each other through the cadet organization, and
Mm.
so once a week we'd be able to see each other, and I'll tell you because and I'm going to speak for myself, but I know I speak for a lot of men.
Yeah, yeah.
As men, as a man, I get pretty clueless sometimes. See,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that she actually liked me since she was 14, but I knew
Okay.
her, but I never noticed her, if that makes sense.
Got it.
And
No,
and it
no.
was
I get it.
yeah, and it was when we were 16 that after 2 years of her trying to get me to notice her, and I wasn't
Yes.
noticing her. We were playing a game of touch football one day while we were
Yeah.
volunteering at some stuff that our organization would do, and all of a sudden we're playing touch football, and she decided I'm going to get you to notice me. And while I was running for a touchdown, she tackled my ass to the ground, and I'm
Wow.
instantly pissed off. I'm like, "Who the tackled me? This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
touch
yeah, yeah,
football."
yeah.
Until I turned around and I saw it was a girl that tackled me. And instantly in my mind, I was like, because with my
Uh-huh.
ego, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
who's this girl that can tackle me? If she can tackle me, she's got to be awesome. And
Uh-huh.
it was Roxanne, and at that moment, she got my attention.
Oh,
And the
that's a
next
what a
day,
way to get your attention. My gosh.
yeah, the next day I asked her to be my girlfriend, and from that point forward, 35 years in total together.
Wow. That's an incredible story. Thanks for sharing that. Oh my goodness. That's like one of those things where, you didn't notice me until I like hit you over the head with an Advil.
Right,
In
right.
this situation, tackle you to the ground
Like I
in
said,
football.
clueless, clueless.
Oh my gosh, that's something else. So then you guys, I mean, so it sounds like she kind of had the bug for entrepreneurship, or I mean, maybe not even entrepreneurship, but like she had the bug for, doing something more, constantly doing something more, constant improvement. And that's very interesting because you said that she comes from a very small town. She's coming from this
Mhm.
town of 7,000 people, and yet she has this internal drive to like do better, be better, improve, etc. So you guys now get married at 19, and she's saying she wants more. And so what is the first thing that ends up happening? Like, what's the first more that you achieve together?
Well, and it's actually because, and I love that we're talking about fear, because a lot of our decisions when we were young were fear driven. And
Okay.
here's what I mean by that. Because I was taught to work hard and stay loyal to a company, that's what I did when I started working. And by the time I was 21, I was laid off from 3 different companies.
Oh,
You know, they
wow.
had shut down, downsized, and I'm working hard, I'm staying loyal. You know, what the heck's going on here? And when I got laid off from the third company, here where I live in Alberta, when the oil prices are down, we go through economic struggle because so much is tied to it. So I
Hmm.
was looking for a real job and I couldn't find one. And because I was taught you do whatever you need to do to take care of your family, I started delivering pizzas. And I started
Okay.
delivering pizzas for Domino's Pizza, making
Okay.
actually more money than my real job. And I'm getting paid to drive around, listen to music, meet people. Because I'm a hard worker, I was the old guy at the store. All the other drivers were 16 and 17. So they always wanted to party. So I could pick up extra shifts. So I was,
Oh, okay.
because I'm working hard, I'm working. Well, all of a sudden I'm doing this for a few months when I find out that my franchisee is selling the store. And we went into fear because we're like, what if the new owner fires everybody? Because now I'm like, I've already lost 3 jobs. What are we going to do? And from that fear, the kind of the solution was, well, he sold the store because he bought 2 different ones. So now he's got 2 stores. He probably needs another manager. And so I went to him and said, look, I need something more permanent. Do you need a manager? And
Hmm.
because of my work ethic, he decided I would become his manager. And
Okay.
so it was in a city an hour and a half away. And two
Oh.
weeks later, I moved. And so it took about a month for my wife. She'd come up on the weekends. We'd find a place, and she'd go back and pack up our old place. And then she moved up and she became my assistant manager. And the reason she became my
Okay.
assistant manager, because get this, is I know nothing about managing. I asked my franchisee if I could have training because I'd only been driving. He goes, you'll get lots of chance to train when you get there. And when I
Excuse
walk into
me?
the store, right? Yes.
Say what, Willis?
Yeah. And what you be talking about, Willis? I love that
Right.
show. And so I walk into the store, and my assistant manager is a 17-year-old kid that's worked there since he was 14, started as a customer service rep. And here's what he said to me. He said, just so you know, in the 3 years I've worked here, I've seen 42 managers and assistant managers come through the store, which means you're not going to be here long. So I'm letting you know I'm not going to listen to you.
Wow, that's well, wow.
Right?
In a way, that is thank you. Thank you for being straightforward so I don't waste my time. Thanks.
Well, but see, because I'm in fear that, well, I don't know how to run a store. I'm going to have to rely on him. I start
Right.
working and he's undermining me. I don't realize
Of
he's
course, because
undermining
he
me
doesn't
with
want to
the
listen to
staff.
you. You already established that.
Exactly. And my wife came up for the weekend to because we're looking at some places to rent. And so she's in the store and she's in the back, and it's a Friday night. We're in the middle of a supper rush. We're making up to 100 pizzas an hour from scratch.
Wow.
And because I didn't know how to order food, I had messed up our food order, and we're running out of food. And so I'm calling all the stores around me to find more food. And I
Yeah, yeah.
finally find enough. And I go, I have to leave. And I said to my wife, you stay here. I got to go pick up this food. Well, the
Wow.
moment I walk out the door, my assistant manager starts bad mouthing me. My wife, he doesn't even know how to order food. How long is he going to be here? And he just starts going at it. And so I get back, we get the rush done. And my wife's like, we need to talk. I'm like, okay. So we go to the back. She goes, well, you were gone. Here's what Mark was doing and saying. And
Wow.
I'm in fear. And I'm like, because she says, you've got to let him go. He's just going to be impacting the whole store. You're never going to be able to run the store with
Yeah,
him.
negative energy is never good. It's not good for
Right.
morale.
So out of being, frustrated in fear, here's what I said to my wife. I said, so what? Are you going to be my assistant manager? And she looked at me. She goes, if that's what it takes. And I took it a deep breath. And, one of the sayings
I
that you
like
hear a lot
Roxanne.
is,
I like Roxanne. Yep.
yeah. Well, you've probably heard the saying, behind every great man is a great woman. Have you heard that
Oh
saying?
yeah. Oh, I've heard that saying.
Yeah. Do you believe that saying?
Of course.
I don't.
Really? I think you
Because
guys are both together. I mean, it's like it's a team
and
effort.
that's it. It's beside every great man is a great woman, is the way I look at it. Not behind, it's beside. Because we do, we are a team, plain and simple. And so we started managing, and we started working open to close 7 days a week because we know how to work hard. And then all of a sudden, life decided to put more fear in our way, because after just over a year and a half, or right around a year and a half, I'm now qualified to be a franchisee, because in Domino's Pizza, the way they built is you couldn't just buy a store, franchise. You had to qualify. You had to successfully manage a store and meet a bunch of criteria for at least a year. And if you did, you qualified to be a franchisee. So now we were qualified, but the problem is even though they waived the upfront franchise fee, you still have to be able to afford to buy or build a store.
Hey, it's Dr. G, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for listening to this episode. I'm so honored to have you here with me. Did you know that I can help you to get your own podcast started? With my podcasting launch course for professionals, I walk you through everything you need to know about starting a podcast. I'm with you every step of the way, from sign up to launching your show, with 5 episodes ready to go. There's a done for you version that's also available. If you would just rather just do recordings and leave the behind the scenes work up to us, then that one is definitely for you. But either way, we've got your back here at Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Oh, if you already have a show and you need production services, we have monthly plans available for you. So check out the links in the episode show notes for more information. Let's get back to the show.
So all of a sudden we're working along, we're qualified, but we have no money. We're barely making it by. And all of a sudden we find out my franchisee realized he had made a bad decision, trading one really good store that he was making good money in for 2 stores that weren't doing very well. He thought he could build them up really quick, but he ended up with 2 overheads and he wasn't doing well. So he decided, I'm out of Domino's Pizza, I'm selling my stores. And the one thing we knew for sure is the managers were the first ones let go, because the new owners came in with, their
own personnel,
turn the store around. And so my response is, we better start calling other franchisees and find out who needs managers. A lot of the franchisees here like us, we got to secure it. And my wife's like, hell no. I'm like, well, what are we going to do? She said, we buy the store.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, buy the store.
Right. But then I'm looking at her and going, hello, do we have money? No, we don't have money.
Yeah, but I'm sure you can figure it out.
Well, see, and that's it. One of the things that we have that we possess that helps us really well is we have passion. And so we thought we got to learn how to buy a store. And so we started investigating and asking questions and learning. How do you buy a business if you have no money? How do you make it work? And we made a lot of mistakes. As an example, someone would say, I can get you guys, you're young. I know you're only 23 and you don't have a lot of credit, but I can get you a loan, but my fee up front is $1,000.
Oh.
And we didn't have $1,000, but we're like, okay, fine, here's $1,000. All of a sudden, next thing you know, oh, sorry, I tried all my investors. No one's willing to invest in me.
But they're obviously out $1,000
gone. Yeah. But every time something happened, we learned from it.
Of course.
We learned, okay, and it's 3 questions we go through in our heads. Like, what works? What didn't work? What can we do different? And so every time we'd go somewhere new, we'd adjust until we had the confidence to actually talk to our own bank. And we walked in because, and here's the thing, I'm a big believer, have a great relationship with your bank. Have a great relationship.
Of course.
Yeah. And we didn't want to go to them first. We had tried, but the business manager just would not see us. And so we're talking to the bank manager, the branch manager, the one day. She'd helped us buy our first house. She loved us. She knew we were hardworking. And we're in her office. She goes, so how's it going with wanting to buy the store? And we said, well, we're hitting roadblock after roadblock. She goes, why? I said, well, we just can't get a loan. She goes, well, have you talked to such and such? And we said, can't get an appointment to see him. Really?
We'll fix that. Let's fix that.
She takes us by the hand, walks us across the bank, knocks on his door, and says, Brent, this is Robert and Roxanne Riopel. They're great kids. They're trying to buy a Domino's Pizza store. I want you to take care of them. And from that introduction, he's like, okay, great. So now, and it's perfect that this was the time when we got to see him, because now we knew what to say how to
Right.
say it.
Okay.
And we laid
Fantastic.
everything out. And we ended up buying both the stores my franchisee had for sale. And they gave us 100% financing for both of them.
That is awesome. Wow. So you guys are like 20 something and
23.
owners,
Yeah.
23 and owners. That is fantastic. That's fantastic.
And it is. It's great. And I'll tell you, the 9 years we were franchisees was amazing learnings. But what we realized is we knew how to run a store,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't know how to run a business.
Oh,
And boy, is there a difference.
there is a difference.
And
There is a
yeah, and
difference.
we didn't know, like, first 2 years, we didn't do any of our own bookkeeping because we were like, we can't afford to hire an accountant. We'll just do it when we have a chance. Well, 2 years later, we have all, and our bookkeeping was pretty, here was our system for success. If there's money in the bank, we must be doing well. We didn't know what we didn't know. And
Wow.
look, if your listeners come away with nothing else, I want them to realize that if I can create success, they can create success.
That is
We
something else.
stumbled through a lot. It's crazy.
But you know that is such a reflection of what success is, right? I mean, you're constantly stumbling, you're constantly falling down, you're constantly getting back up, you're constantly like, okay, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's try this.
And when we were doing this, we didn't realize that our spending habits, what we learned as kids and how we automatically handled money, as we started making some money, we started spending and spending. And actually, by the time we were franchisees for 8 years, we were actually over $150,000 in debt and going down quickly. And we weren't enjoying donuts anymore. So we weren't working as much in the stores. That's part of the frustration. We hadn't systemized them properly. So if we weren't in the store, the sales would go down. And there was a lot of frustration. Yeah. And that's when we were introduced to personal development. Now, my brother-in-law had tried to introduce us to personal development a couple of years earlier, and we're like, we don't need that stuff. Like, he had the cassette tapes. Not to tell you how old I am, but he had the cassette tapes. Those are the best, Tony man. Robbins, right? And he's like, you need to listen to these. And we're like, I'm not listening to those. But now, out of necessity, someone sent us 2 tickets to thank us for visiting their booth at an expo. And they said, these tickets are for an evening that will change your life, and they're valued at $39 each. Please accept them as your gift. Mm-hmm. And the only reason we showed up is, thank goodness, my mindset would not let me waste $39 tickets.
Gotcha.
And we walk into that room, blown away. At the end of the evening, we're running to the back to pay $600 that we did not have.
Right, of course, because you already
register for a 3-day weekend, right? And that was in March of 2001. June of 2001, we go into this 3-day training, and the only reason we showed up was to get our money back. We had showed up because we went through buyer's remorse, and we just wanted our money back. We can't afford it. Like, we should have spent this money. And because of they didn't try and fight us on us. They were amazing people. They said, look, just come in. Well, we figured things out. So my wife and I, we went in, sat down. But within the first hour, we were into the energy and blown away. And through that 3 days, we learned why we were spending money the way we were. We learned to take ownership, that it was us that created the financial situation we were in instead of playing the victim. And we also had practical skills of how to change it. And so when we left that weekend, we went, we now know what to do, and we're going to put it into action. And even though it was, one of the things that we had to make a decision was get back into the stores. We don't have a lot of money. That means we're going to, because at that weekend, we spent $12,000 to buy the big package of all the trainings.
Okay.
And the only way we could do it is if I maxed out all 5 of my credit cards. And please, listeners, do not think I'm telling you to do this. But for us, we were in a situation where we knew this was going to be a turning point in our life.
Sure.
And it meant we now were back to working 7 days a week. It meant that we were eating a lot of pizza because we were at the store. We couldn't afford food from the house. So we'd eat a lot of pizza or trade it. I could trade pizza for anything. So
is that right?
Food one night, chicken another night, hamburgers another. Oh, we had it all set up. But we were at our store a lot. And what we were able to do, because we started putting the lessons into practice, is we actually went from $150,000 in debt to actually being retired completely financially free 9 months later at the age of 32.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a fantastic turnaround.
And it was a lot of stress, but we were willing to do what needed to be done to create the life
Yeah.
we wanted. And as soon as we retired, our minds went, wow, if this much information gave us that result, what would more learning do? And we dove in and we started learning from as many people as we could. And that's when I found my passion, was to teach. Because
Okay.
for me, it started off like this. If I could even help one person do what my wife and I had been able to do, go from financial debt to financial success, it would make it all worthwhile. And for the last 18 plus years, I've been blessed to travel around the world, helping over 500,000 people create financial freedom, know how to do it in their life, and
That's
live my
awesome.
absolute passion.
That is awesome. Wow. I'm sure that if your 19-year-old self knew what was coming, would not have believed it.
No, and that's it. See, you don't know what you don't know. And if someone had told me when I was sitting in that first room as a student, if they said, Robert, you're going to travel around the world, impact lives, and I would have looked out and said, are you crazy? Because at that point, I'd never traveled really outside of Canada and a little bit of the US.
Got
I'd
it.
never
Yeah.
dreamed of going anywhere else in the world. And as of today, I've been in over 30 countries. The last few years, I've flown on average 200,000 miles a year, getting to travel around the world, training people. And I didn't know what I didn't know back then. But hindsight, looking back, I'm like, wow, what a journey. And people say, well, what would you change if you could go back?
Yeah.
And I'd say nothing.
Because that path brought you where
Every
you
good,
are,
bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. And
Yeah, the path is like pivotal, right? Because it's like that's the thing that really brings you to who you are now. And had the path been different, maybe you wouldn't be who you are now. So totally worth it to go through it again. And with the ignorance, because clearly that's part of it.
It's kind of like people watch these sci-fi movies where the people try to go back and like change their path, and then they end up like ruining everything.
yeah, that movie, The Butterfly Effect, with Ashton Kutcher, right?
So clearly, everything that you did, everything that you and your city went through have molded you into who you are and made you more relatable also, right? Because now you can tell a story of like, look, I maxed out 5 credit cards, I did all these things, and I was like 150K in debt, and then and within a year I was retired, which is like, that's a story that would be a story that really impacts people. It is a story that impacts people. Versus if you're just like, yeah, I did it, I made it, da-da-da. Like that isn't as powerful.
When I'm training students and I'm on a stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people, within the first 10 minutes, one of the things I'll do is I'll actually come down off the stage. I'll purposely find someone who I know is very, very tall, because I'm 5'6", so I'm not very tall. And I'll ask them if they can assist me. And they say, yeah. I have them stand up. I have them stand beside me. I find the camera. I look at the camera. So we're on the jumbo screens. And I'll say to the audience, I want everybody to notice something. I am short. And when I say that, usually they laugh. And I say, now I thank the person for helping me out, have them sit down. And I say, why would I point that out to you? And the reason is because I want everybody to know that just because I'm the one on the stage does not make me any better than you. Doesn't make me special. I'm the same as you. Now, is it possible I might have knowledge that you don't have? Absolutely. But isn't it also true every single one of you has information I don't?
Absolutely.
And so that's the key I want them to understand is our minds that create the fear of, I could never do what they did because they must have had a great life, or they must have had the right education. They must have been born into the right family. No, it's what you're willing to, take on your journey and asking those questions. I'm a big believer in the saying that everything happens for a reason, which a lot of people have heard and believe, but what they don't realize is that's actually an incomplete statement. If you look at the full statement, is everything happened for a reason, and that reason is there to serve me. And when you look at it that way, it now puts you into curiosity, because no matter what goes on in your life, if you look back and you go, okay, if everything happened for a reason and that reason's there to serve me, What could be a possible lesson I got from that? And I'm not saying you're going to get the lessons right away. Sometimes it takes years to all of a sudden go,
Yes.
oh my
I was going to
goodness.
say that. I was like, years later, you're like, oh, that's why.
Right. And that's what's perfect about it, right? But if you just go into a victim role of something bad or negative or fear holds you back, if you just go into the victim role, like, why, woe is me? Why did this happen? Instead of going, okay, why did this happen? Two totally different energies around.
Oh, yeah.
And, so never believe this is, I love biographies. I don't know. Do you like watching and reading biographies?
I do. They're always very fascinating to hear people's life stories there.
Right. Instead of just looking at the final picture of where they got to, I want to know their journey.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know the ups, but more importantly, I want to know the downs that they went through, because that's where the greatest lessons come from.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That is for certain. Yeah, to try to turn some of my downs and what has come out of it. So, like, oh, yeah. No, that is such such a great point, because hearing the second portion of that statement is great, because I don't think I'd heard it before. So that was awesome. But yes, your perspective on how you look at fear is tremendous in the impact that it has in your life. If you're looking at it from a place of pain, which is kind of like I'm the victim, versus a place of power where you're like, you know what, this thing is happening to me, and I'm pretty sure that there's a reason for this. And I have to figure out, it may be now, or it may be like in years from now, but there's a reason why how this is going to serve me. Like, that perspective is going to have you in a different place, that it's just going to make things so much better. Because number one, you're going to learn more, right, from the experience. Number two, you're going to have a positive outlook, which is going to just make things better. It's going to help you to come up with solutions to a problem. It's going to help you to be able to have resilience. It is just going to be better. And so, so thank you for bringing that up. I think that's an incredible point. And, we have had such a magnificent conversation. We are at that point in the show where we do our fill in the blanks. So, Robert, are you ready for fill in the blanks?
I am.
Okay, cool. All right, so the first one is, if I am fearless, I will
be authentic.
Nice.
Because to me, that's the greatest gift anybody can give this planet. Be you.
Be you. And then the second one is, to me, fearless freedom means.
I'm going to say something that a mentor of mine taught me. Instead of being willing to live life, courageously allow life to live you.
Okay. Yeah, you never know where it's going to take you. So that takes courage, for sure.
Yeah.
And okay. And then last but not least, my battle cry is,
bring it on.
Bring it on. Nice. Awesome. So you have to let the Fearless Freedom Tribe know how they can reach out to you if they want to hire you for getting on one of their stages, or if they want to be mentored by you, or partake in the services that you offer. How can they reach out to you?
My website for my book, my first book that I wrote, is called Success Left a Clue. So if they go to successleftaclue.com, that'll teach them how to get in touch with me. Also, I do have a fan page on Facebook that they can follow me on my fan page. But what I would love to do is, for you having me on your podcast, I actually would love to give as a gift to all of your listeners the ebook version, the PDF copy of my book, Success Left a Clue, as a gift.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And so if they go to robertriopel.com, they'll be able to download the book. And now it comes with a warning, though, Dr. G. The book is not just a book to read and then put on the shelf and make it shelf help. That's not what it's for. I wrote it as a workbook because I go through 6 steps to really creating the life you want. And step number 3 is take action. And most people, that's the biggest thing they forget to do, is to take action. So what I did when I wrote the book is I'm giving action steps all the way through. When I give an action step, I say, before you read any more, take this action, get it done. And then the next chapter starts with, if you have not done the action I just told you about, stop reading right now, go back and do the action. So
Fantastic.
I make sure that they go through and they actually do the work. So.
Awesome. And so just because folks are listening, do you mind spelling out Riopel so that they know exactly how to reach you on your website? Because I know people know how to spell Robert.
Yeah.
But they may not know how to spell your last name.
Okay, good. Yeah, Riopel is Riopelmouse. Oh, no, forget the MOUSE part. But it's RIO as in Rio, like Rio de Janeiro, and then P as in Peter, EL, Riopel.
Awesome. And it's robertriopel.com. Fantastic.
You got it.
Love it. So thank you for your time. We appreciate you. And yeah, we're going to be going out there and taking action. And thank you for the gift, because I know that it's going to be a powerful exercise to help many people in the tribe to take it to that next level and to live life to the fullest, which is what it sounds like you are pushing us to do, right? So appreciate that for sure, and stay sincere and doing so boldly so that we can see the best parts of ourselves exposed.
My pleasure. I am so happy to have been a guest.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.